Well, thanks for having me today. And my talk is not going to be as interesting. I'm just going to share the infrastructure that we built and the pretty much the vendor that we use to establish what we call the e-fellowship in our program. These are my disclosures, not are related to this talk today. So we had this vision a few years ago that we wanted to be part of a network that is able to train people with neurointervention all over the world. And the partner that University of Chicago decided to go with is Proximie. And the reason for that is Proximie is pretty much it's not just a camera and an audio system that can connect the OR or the angio suite, but it's a little bit more intuitive than that. And I'm just going to go over some of the examples. So the culture that University of Chicago decided is we're going to purchase a partnership with Proximie. It's not through any vendors. And we will broadcast and record it as many cases as possible and share it with people who wants to train all over the world. Now, with Proximie, there's few things that we felt that because we're partners with them, we have advantage in that regard. First, it's really real-time connectivity, meaning that whatever I'm doing in the angio suite or in the OR, people from all over the world can hear me live and can ask questions. So we can interact and they can actually, in our e-fellowship, for example, we have Dr. Dolia from Emory, Adam from Harvard. Um, we have faculty outside of University of Chicago that are on the case and they can advise the interventions themselves. And all that with the students, if you will, or the fellows, if you will, listening, learning, asking questions, and pretty much seeing almost everything we're doing uh, live. On top of that, what we notice is very useful is we are using our platform, and I'm going to go over it when we go to the library, to teach fellows all over the world how to mix glue, how to prepare onyx, how to prepare a carotid filter system, which it's very helpful for people who've never been exposed to that. Um, it's data protected. It's also have analysis that's available to you if you're using Proximie, meaning you can go back and see how many people went into the case, how many did that live, how many did that recorded. And the nice thing is you can record everything, and people who are part of this fellowship can go back and look at all the cases at their leisure time. So again, this is just an example of a case that can be happening in the endoscopy suite. The nice thing also, they have multiple different forms, meaning my fellow might be doing a case in the angio suite. I can watch them from my iPad. I can watch them from my phone. I can watch them from my desktop. And I can move the camera and say, no, you're doing this, yeah, right, you're doing this wrong. I can give them instruction, meaning, no, pull back your wire. All that is available, even though like I might be walking to from my office and I have it on my phone. And while I'm doing that, I can pretty much talk with other fellows. Similarly, when I'm doing a case, people can move the camera if I want to give them access to, or they cannot be allowed to do the camera. They can ask questions, or we can mute them if we want to focus, for example. And the picture in picture is very important if you want to just focus on the AP or lateral, you can do that. And I'm going to show you an example so the way Proximie works, let's focus on the angio suite, forget about the OR for a second. You can see AP and lateral. You can see the 3D station. So you have up to four feeders if you want from your pretty much angio suite screen, if you will. So usually what we do is we have the APN lateral and we have the 3D for the aneurysms or the AVMs or the fistulas. Then there's two views from two different cameras. And again, we can control the cameras, they can control the cameras. And we can hear what they're saying. We can mute them if that is bothering us and vice versa. Again, the analysis and the insight of it, meaning I can go back and see if certain fellow because this our program, the way we did the e-fellowship was a CME. So based on how many times, like if there's a fellow who never been in any live cases or never been in any recorded cases, we know that they do not deserve the CME if that's if important, which was very important for our e-fellowship program. Now, the video library is the most unique thing because I have now about 60 plus fellows from all over the world. With the time difference and the inability yet for Proximie to notify the case when it starts, the problem becomes is when I start a Proximie case, I just schedule it for a certain time, let's say 9:30. With anesthesia delay, this might not really start at 10:30, for example. And even with stroke cases, I do all my stroke cases with general anesthesia. There might be a delay, and people might lose patience and not go there. So that's one of the things that we're working with Proximie to hopefully fix it in the future and maybe give a notification exactly when we start the case. Now we're working on just a WhatsApp group that when I start the case, I just send a message on WhatsApp so people can know. But it's not always very easy to be there on live cases. So in my experience with elective cases, I always have a lot of people attending. When stroke cases or trauma cases, when it's more acute, definitely way less people are on the case. That is something we're looking forward to fix in the future. But saying this, the nice thing about it, they can go back and look over the whole case. We try our best. We have an earpiece when we are operating. We try our best to make sure throughout the case, we just keep saying what we're doing. It's always nicer to have somebody asking questions so we can explain in more details, but we try to go as detailed as possible during the case. And then if the fellow, when they're looking over these videos, have a question, they can always email us later or send us on the WhatsApp group to go over what we did and explain everything in details. So I just want to show something. I'm not sure if I can see it here. So the way the Proximie work currently, it's multiple different systems. It can be installed in the Angel Suite, or it can be portable on a cart, or it can be portable just on an iPad with cameras that you can click to the Ninja Suite over your hand, and you can easily move them. You can control them throughout. Again, we can control them. Like if my fellows are in a case, I always give my permission to I use the camera and see exactly where their hands are and how they're exchanging wires and stuff like that. We can disable that if we need to. It's very secure, so if you try to record a case that it's already recorded, it's not going to let you. If you try to take a picture of a case, it's not going to let you. So it's very HIPAA compliant. It's HIPAA compliant. It prevents any leak of any cases outside of our system. It's the nice thing now we're working with Proximie is we can now the library is all the cases. So we have this experience with the e-fellowship for now. A year and a half. We have 500 plus cases recorded, all interventions. Um, right now, you just go with the title and find them, but we're trying to make a library that MMA embolization are separate from web device, separate from seal device, separate from Onyx for fistula, stuff like that. So it's still in the work. It's not perfect yet, but it's as good as it could get when we talk about this technology for what we're doing right now. We never had any internet problems, connections. It's very well wired and it's tested well, and they have their ways to test that. It's now in the United States is supported by Terumo Neuro. So if you're interested in this program to start in the United States, because there's a cost to have this system in your Angel Suite, it's about $18,000 a year. So it was funded in my place by like some kind of Sometimes we do direct tumor embolization with direct stick. So in these cases, the face of the patient might show, and same thing, proximity will blur all the feature that could identify the face without blurring your procedure. All that needs time with your staff to get used. Like right now, we only have the cart, so we move them between the two angio suites. So it needs training. It doesn't come very easily. But once you're up and running and doing it now, most of our cases, unless the patient specifically say, I don't want to be recorded, most of our patients are live streamed and recorded. This is pretty much our experience for the last year and a half now. We had Proximy for about a year and a half. We had the fellowship program for about 8 months, 60 plus fellows, 500 plus cases, live and recorded. This is the link for our e-fellowship. Now, from this, we want to transform into machine thrombectomy and be ready. And we're ready as of today for 3 centers in the United States, 2 in Florida and University of Chicago, to start not just recording a live stream as of tomorrow. We just need to have the fellows sign in. And just a side note, we have a fellows course this coming July 24, 25, 26. This is the link to it. If you're interested in, or if you're a trainee, we pay for travel grants. We have like, I think 5 or 6 spots left. It's hands-on with the animal lab and the flow model. But the nice thing is Proximy is supporting. So everything we're going to be doing in the fellows course, from lectures, from the animal lab, for the for the animal lab model and the flow models, all going to be live broadcasted and recorded too. And thank you very much for having me today.